Okay, today we're working on similarity a little bit, and you'll want to write this on your flip card, the same book that you have in the variables and patterns book, but go just to the next card and call it S&S, stretching and shrinking number 1, similarity. Okay, you are going to notice, or we talked about in class yesterday, that it takes two things for something to be similar. All right, and it needs these two characteristics. So if figures are similar, the first thing that happens are the side lengths of one figure are multiplied by the same number, known as the scale factor, to get the corresponding side lengths in the second figure. So for example, if I had like a little rectangle or something like this, and it was a 1x2 rectangle, I had another one, we'll say not drawn to scale, but this is a 3x6 rectangle. 2 is multiplied by 3, and 1 is also multiplied by 3 to get the other side lengths, okay? That's the scale factor. It has to be the same both times for them to be similar. Okay. The second characteristic that needs to be true is that the corresponding angles are the same size. They're congruent. So if you look at one shape and the other shape, they need to have the same angles. Okay. Angles are congruent. All right, if you flip to the back of your card, we're going to work out a few examples. And this is your goal in the examples. You need to say, are the following figures similar? If they are similar, you need to come up with the scale factor from A to B. So we're going to say what we need to multiply the first one by to get the second one. Okay, so here's the first one. A, here are the two rectangles. Okay, and they are a 2x6 rectangle is A and a 3x9 rectangle is B. Okay, so if we're looking at these, try that on your own. It's always a good idea. Then you can see what I do. So I look, and first of all, I say, hey, well, the angles are all the same, so that's good. So that's a good part of being similar. And if I look from side 2 to 3, it looks like I need to multiply that by 1.5 or 1.5. If I look from 6 to 9, I also need to multiply it by 1.5. So it looks like these are similar, because it's the same scale factor both times. And the scale factor from A to B is 1.5, or 3/2, whatever you want to call it, fraction decimal, okay. All right, look at this next one. All right, so are these figures similar? And if so, state the scale factor from A to B. So again, I might look at two things. I am going to notice right away my angles are not the same. Like that's definitely an acute angle and that's a right angle. They are not matching, so I'm going to say, no, these are not similar. If you hadn't noticed that first and you just looked at scale factor, you might have noticed to get from 4 to 2, I divide by 2 or I multiply by 0.5. To get from 6 to 3, I also multiply by 0.5. So that part worked, but it's not similar because they do not have the same angle. So both things have to be true. Okay, let's look at this one. If I can get it to delete. Okay, so in these triangles for C, I'm just going to have to guess on the angles because they aren't actually stated. But to me, it looks the same. So I'm not going to rule out the angles yet, even though I really don't know for sure if the angles are similar. They could be slightly off. The scale factor from A to B, so I have to see, what do I have to multiply 12 by to get 9? Well, the easiest way to figure that out, if it's not easy, is just do 9 divided by 12. That's 0.75 or 3/4 because 9/12 is 3/4. Okay. If I do the same thing here from 8 to 6, 6 divided by 8, that's also 3/4 or 0.75. So it looks like both times I multiply by 0.75. And like I said before, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to guess that the angles are the same. So I'm going to say, yes, these are similar. And from A to B, the scale factor is 0.75 or 3/4. Okay. You might want to challenge yourself and see if you can find the scale factor from B to A. All right, last one. All right, so here we're looking at A and B again. It looks like the angles might be the same, so I'm not going to rule that out yet. And the scale factor here, if I look from 10 to 5, it looks like I'm multiplying by 1/2 or dividing by 2. If I look from 7 to 4, and that's definitely not multiplying by 1/2 because that would be 3.5. If I actually figure it out, I'm multiplying by 4/7. okay, because 4 divided by 7. It's not the same as 1/2, so no, these are not similar. Okay, I hope this helps you with similarity, and we'll work on this some more.